Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
$1.3 million people die around the globe in road crashes every year. With over 150,000 deaths a year, India accounts for 12.5% of global road accidents, with one road accident occurring every 4 minutes. To deal with this calamity, Diageo India launched the Road to Safety campaign as a part of its corporate social responsibility. Since its launch 4 years ago, the campaign has worked towards making Indian roads safer through enhancing law enforcement and increasing awareness on road safety.
Hello and welcome to this very special episode of Diageo and Network 18 presents the Road to Safety. It's a very interesting initiative that aims to improve our roads, make them safer by raising awareness and of course inculcating responsible driving practices among citizens. To understand the nuts and bolts of this initiative, I'm joined by Abanti Shankar Narayanan, Chief Strategy and Corporate Affairs Officer at Diageo India. Abanti, great to have you with us.
Great to be here.
Thank you. Now, my first question to you is that a majority of your CSR efforts are directed towards improving road safety awareness. Why is that?
So, as the world's leading spirits company, Diageo very firmly believes in responsible consumption and in encouraging responsible practices among its consumers. And one area where we are particularly focused on is anti-drink driving. But when we were looking at India, we realized that drunk driving is actually only a small contributor to the problem of road safety. And the statistics for road safety in India are appalling, 150,000 road fatalities in a year. So we felt that if we actually have to make a big difference to road safety in India, just focusing on anti-drink driving initiatives is not going to make a difference. And therefore, we wanted to actually extend our impact to the broader theme of encouraging road safety versus just being focused on what is a small contributor, which is anti-drink drive. And we just felt that this was an area which needed a lot of focus than what it had got so far.
And speaking of the broader theme, what is the larger CSR philosophy at Diageo, and how does the Road to Safety campaign sync with that?
So the larger philosophy for Diageo is really twofold. On the one hand, we believe that we have to work with partners, governments, NGOs and civil society to address the issues of alcohol misuse. And the second pillar is really creating thriving communities in the areas and markets where we operate. And road safety in India is actually a happy kind of amalgamation of the two, because on the one hand, it allows us to address road safety through anti-drink driving, but also because it's such a large and audacious issue for this country, it really helps us in helping the society at large through what we do.
And take us through the different components of the Road to Safety campaign, specifically the 4 E's. Yeah.
So, like I said, that road safety is an issue which is quite broad and holistic in this country. And the 4 key contributors to road safety are what we call the 4 E's. The first is education, which is all about creating awareness among consumers and society at large. The next one is engineering, so engineering of roads and defects and so on. The third is emergency services, and the fourth is, very importantly, enforcement. So those are the 4 E's.
Okay. And Abanti, tell us about the genesis of Diageo's partnership with IRTE, and what were some of the key result areas which were outlined for this partnership to succeed?
So IRTE and Diageo have a partnership which is now over 4 years old and still going strong. And really the reason we partnered with IRTE is because they are the domain expert in not just in this country but even with the United Nations and experts in road safety and road traffic education and management. And the reason we partnered with them is because actually traffic management is quite a science. And it's a well-known fact that, you know, in India, police are posted onto traffic rules without adequate training. So our view was that if we wanted to make a genuine impact on road safety, we would need to partner with a domain expert who can build capacity in the traffic police, which otherwise, as I said, are not necessarily trained scientifically in traffic management.
And some key result areas, what was the specific mandate you gave to?
So the specific mandate that we gave IRTE was really to build capacity in traffic police, both on managing traffic, but also very importantly, road crash investigations. And in terms of the capacity building, I think the key result area is really as simple as how many traffic police, how many senior traffic officials and commercial drivers do we actually train and build the capacity on. So there's an actual metric that we track, and also the level of awareness before and after they go through this 3-day training.
Okay, and numbers are always a good gauge to see, you know, how the program has progressed so far. So what are some of the key highlights that you would bring out in terms of how this partnership has succeeded in bringing about improved road safety?
So we have gone to 60 cities in over 17 states. We have built capacity for over 5,000 traffic officials and about 4,500 commercial vehicle drivers. So that's really the scale and the numbers that demonstrate the scale. But it's very much a by city approach, because every city has unique traffic problems, and therefore it's not just about scale. It's also about bespoke interventions that help to address the issues in that particular city, that particular topography, and those particular set of conditions on road traffic.
Okay, and any specific points that you would like to add from the engineering and enforcement perspective, part of the 4 E's that you mentioned, how this partnership with IRT has helped in the engineering and enforcement part of road safety?
So on enforcement, I think one of the things that we've done is actually build capacity and knowledge about road traffic legislation, and that obviously helps in enforcement. Actually bequeathing breath analyzers, high quality breath analyzers to traffic departments, and also training them on how to use breath analyzers. So those are a couple of examples on enforcement. On engineering, we actually do road audits, particularly in what are called black spot areas. And those road audits then inform the recommendations that we make to the traffic departments on what might be the engineering solutions that need to be brought to bear to be able to address the the issues that we uncover during the road audits.
Okay, and as a follow-up to my question on statistics, could you when we look at impact, so in terms of reduction of cases of drunk driving or incidents related to it, could you share some of those numbers to see how this campaign has succeeded in reducing the problems that you have identified?
So I have to say that it's very hard to draw a linear line between the input that goes in as part of our intervention and the final kind of outcome in terms of reduction of accidents or cases of drunk driving. Because of the reason that I mentioned, there are 4 E's and multiple dynamics and factors at play. So, I won't be able to actually pinpoint to what the final specific number there. But what I can say is that in the program, the program that we do with IRT, in the pre-program survey, the level of awareness, let's say, is X, and I mean awareness about general principles and practices of traffic management. And post the program, it actually ratchets up across all these 60 programs that we've done by about 30 to 40 percentage points. So if it was 30% among the attendees before they went through the program, then after the program, it's about 70%. So that's one kind of statistic.
One way for you to measure.
That's one way for us to measure, where we can clearly say, because of the intervention that was made, this was the impact.
Okay. And finally, what's your vision for this campaign now? You've achieved so much, but what's the road ahead?
So the vision really for our campaign is that we want this campaign to be a catalyst which will make a real difference to the appalling situation with road safety in India. And I say catalyst because I'm very cognizant of the fact that we, Diageo, alone cannot change the issues with road safety. But if we are able to almost be the anchor and the choreographer which brings together relevant stakeholders both in conversation as well as on-ground actions, then that joint action can actually make a very significant and material impact. And that's the vision for this. We want to be a catalyst to completely transform road safety in India.
Avanti, thank you so much for giving us time for this interview. We'll take a short break on that note, but when we return, we speak to the president of IRT to understand his vision of road safety. Stay tuned.
The Institute of Road Traffic Education, or IRTE, was set up in the year 1991 as a center for developing educational and training programs based upon scientific research in the fields of traffic engineering, traffic enforcement, enforcement technology, driver training and testing systems, public participation, and building awareness towards road safety.
The vision of IRT is traffic management. That means building a scientific basis of a traffic management system. We never believed that we are talking about road safety. We always believed that we want to build a scientific approach to traffic management so that road safety is an inherent component. It's the whole cement behind it. But traffic management needs to come up. We need to make sure that speeds are improving. We need to make sure violations are going down. We may want to make sure that traveling on the road is not a bad experience. It is a safe experience. And ultimately, road transportation should build the economy.
At IRTE's College of Traffic Management, research-based systems and tools for training and traffic management have led to initiatives like traffic enforcement vehicles, the Interceptor, and mobile crash investigation and road safety audit laboratory, the Crash Lab.
The IRT basically first went into deep research to understand what should be done for police training. And based upon the research, we could understand the type of violations taking place, the type of fallacies in traffic engineering. And based upon that, we could build the first modules and curriculum for police training. And that is how today we are responsible for training the IPS officers at the National Police Academy. Road accident deaths and serious injuries are happening, but unfortunately we are unable to understand why they are happening because there was no diagnosis. So the IRT became the first organization to go into the factors of road crash deaths and serious injuries and then develop a scientific basis of a road accident investigation system. The third area was driver training. Now, it is not just what you want to do in driver training, that this is the law, so drivers must know. So we went down to understand that why are drivers not able to drive the way they should be. And one of the biggest vacuum in the areas was that our engineering was failing. Our roads are not tuned to what the drivers could drive on. So we built a bottom-up approach, that these are the problems in the road, this is the law, but still how you could be a good driver, how could you drive defensively. Our codes of practice of traffic engineering, they're not suited to us. In a 3-lane road, it should only be 3 lanes to drive. But today in India, in a 3-lane road, we have 8 lanes to drive. Our engineers are not trained. There is nothing called a scientific traffic engineering program in India. IRT became the first organization to bring in this awareness and to work with the government and United Nations to create and bring about what are the codes of practice so that our engineers can be trained. Today, if the road environment is failing, we don't know whose responsibility. And so today you see that the traffic control, that means that if you have signals, people must stop at the signal, but if you don't have a signal and there's a junction, then there is something called a right of way, which is written in the law. Since nobody observes the right of way, every junction has to be manned by a police constable. So what he's doing is not his work. He's doing control. He's not doing enforcement. And so the traffic police today across the country are spending all their energies and time in traffic control, which is not their job.
Diageo has partnered with IRTE to deal with this lack of capacity in the traffic police, taking the Road to Safety campaign beyond the drink and drive awareness campaign.
Most of the corporates have been actually wanting to do something in their own respective fields. But Diageo was a total different approach. Diageo said, let's work on the areas where it really contributes to poverty elevation, to developing a system where people are not dying onto the roads. And they came forward and said, let's do something on road safety, traffic management. Another very important fact which Diageo supported was most of the organizations who are in CSR do not invest into research. They want to invest into direct programs where they can see more of a show, more of application, but not research. So the proposal when we gave to Diageo was that if you really want to build in road safety is that we need to invest into research, and based upon research we develop tools and systems of training, and then we impart training to the police.
Diageo India and IRTE's National Capacity Building Program reached its 63rd city, Varanasi. With a population density of more than 15,000 and an increasing number of tourists, Varanasi has been dealing with massive congestion and traffic violation on its roads. Much like the rest of Uttar Pradesh, the leading state in India in terms of road casualties.
170 countries, their figures are less than 21,000. The United Kingdom is just 1,800. Australia is 1,300. And just Uttar Pradesh is 21,000. So the indiscipline factor is high. Violations, every vehicle is violating. The road systems are not as per standard. And so much needs to be done here. This state needs a lot of attention. And that's what we are trying to do.
Aimed at achieving higher levels of efficiency and effectiveness, the 3-day workshop brought an expert panel of faculty of IRTE to provide training to traffic police and transport officers in road accident investigation and traffic management. Senior police officials from 35 districts of Uttar Pradesh participated in this program.
These officers are leading their police departments in their little places. They're coming from towns and they are the heads of traffic in these little townships. So what they're going to go back is that they would try to relate it to their subordinates, which are their assistant sub-inspectors and head constables and constables. And what they did not know, now they know. They have the confidence of understanding the law and understanding the environment, which is wrong or right. So if they have to correct the environment, they can reach out to road authorities and correct it. And if they understand the law, then they can actually now start enforcing those violations which they didn't know were violations.
Presently what we are seeing, traffic has become a priority area for police personnel, and public perception depends on how good and how smoothly traffic of a particular city is there. And most of the smart city programs also have a traffic component, and improvement of traffic is on agenda of government also. Taking into consideration particular problems of Varanasi also, we will have some interaction with the faculty members and expert team, and we will try to identify certain problems, and we can build on them.
भविष्य में जैसे यातायात व्यवस्था जो यातायात बढ़ रहा है, हम लोग उसको यहाँ से जाएंगे, सीख करके उसको यूज करेंगे अपने जिलों में, अपने संबंधित जो हमारे नीचे वाले कर्मचारी उनको बताएंगे और पूरा इसका श्रेय ले करके जाएंगे और वहाँ पर समझाएंगे सभी को। काफ़ी से लाभ मिलेगा हम लोगों को।
ये जो इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ रोड ट्रैफिक एंड एजुकेशन जो इंस्टीट्यूट है, इनके डॉक्टर रोहित बलूजा जी के द्वारा जो यहाँ प्रोग्राम चलाया जा रहा है कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग का, ये डेफिनेटली इन फ्यूचर हमें बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्प करने जा रहा है, क्योंकि अभी तक हम जो भी लोग हैं पुलिस और सिविलियंस, ये सभी रूल्स रेगुलेशन काफ़ी हद तक जानते हैं कि कहाँ से चलना है, ट्रैफिक रूल्स फॉलो करने, सिग्नल्स फॉलो करने। बट इनको चलाने के लिए जो रोड इंजीनियरिंग होनी चाहिए, जो ट्रैफिक की इंजीनियरिंग है, उसके बारे में बहुत ज़्यादा हमें ये पुलिस पर्सनल्स को एज ए पुलिस पर्सनल नहीं मालूम होता। बट IRT द्वारा कि ये जो ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम चलाया जा रहा है, ये इसके बारे में बहुत डिटेल्स में डॉक्टर रोहित बलूजा जो कि काफ़ी एक्सपीरियंस्ड है वो बता रहे हैं। तो इससे इन फ्यूचर में बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्प मिलने जा रही है और हम इसको आने वाले टाइम अपने सिटीज़ में या जहाँ के भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स है, जहाँ जहाँ जाएंगे, अपने अपने शहरों में इसका प्रयोग करके और ट्रैफिक और अच्छे मूवमेंट में और अच्छे ढंग से वहाँ पे चलवा पाएंगे।
Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.